Hi, I'm Ishan Kumar. I'm a wildlife and sports photographer based in Singapore. As you might know, I photographed the Tour de France Prudential Criterium in Singapore a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to be breaking down how I photographed this image and how I edited it. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, this photograph kind of started off like this, and this is what I made it. You can kind of see before and after. So first I'm going to talk about composing it. So my thought process behind this photograph was that I really wanted to get the Marina Bay Sands building in the background because it's really iconic in Singapore, and it would give the image kind of like a location, and basically the idea is that it couldn't be shot anywhere in the world, and it is Singapore, which is kind of what makes it special. And I got a couple of these photographs of different riders, different teams, but I think this one was my favorite. So this was during the team time trial, so all of the riders were always in one line drafting behind each other, and that worked out really well for composition. Now there are a number of things in this image that I like. One is kind of like the leading lines of these ones down here, and then with the cones. And yeah, so this image involved a lot of waiting in like a really awkward position, trying to shoot between the rails and trying to get as low as possible because the course wasn't the most photographer friendly. And yeah, I think it paid off, and it's a really compelling photograph. So how I edited this picture. So as you can see, this was the original. It's really dark. There are these street lights that are kind of interfering with the photograph. But yeah, to correct the exposure, I increased the exposure by 0.9 of a stop. And then whenever I increase the exposure, I always increase the contrast because I think that brings back a little bit more of like the range in the colors. And then again, I raised the shadows because it was a lot of like the riders' faces, and like a lot of riders' faces were quite, what have I done here? Yeah, they were quite like shaded, and you really couldn't see who was there. And then whenever I increase the shadows, I drop the blacks again, because otherwise all of like the darker colors just look grey, which really makes the image look a lot worse. Then, like in any sports photograph, I increased the exposure and the clarity, and I really wanted to do justice to the bright colors in the road, in the Lidl Trek jerseys, and and the bikes. So I increased the vibrance a little bit. I don't like increasing the saturation because I think that makes the image look really over processed, but I think the vibrance is a good way to make the colors pop a little bit more. For example, if I increase the saturation, this is kind of what it looks like. See, the blues are too blue, and then the orange cones are way too bright, but without it, it's slightly nicer. Then for the crop, it was quite a wide photograph because I shot this at 24mm and at ISO. So I shot this at 24mm ISO 125 f3.5 and 1/8000. My lens did go down to 2.8, but I wanted to have some clarity in the background, so I stopped it down a little bit. Yeah, I'm just going to show you a quick before and after of the basic settings. So before I did the basic settings, this is what it would look like, and then after, it's this. So that's pretty significant, and yeah, if you ask me. Then let's go over masks. I first masked out the sky in the background. Here I just increased the contrast. I want to bring out the clouds and the textures, for lack of a better word, in the sky. I also increased the whites because now the sky was a bit dull, and I dropped the blacks again to increase the contrast with the clouds. And then here I increased the saturation a little bit, but like by a really small number, because here I didn't have a vibrance slider. I also increased the texture and clarity again to bring out the clouds, because I really liked what I saw in the sky there. Then I did a brush mask over just the front, the road here. What I did with this mask was I brushed over the whole thing, and then I used the select subject to remove all the riders from it. Here I just dropped the exposure a little bit because the road was looking a bit overexposed with my general edits on it. Then I did another mask that's also on the road. I increased the shadows just to make sure that the riders and the road were not too shadowed, because I'd also dropped the exposure here. And I increased the exposure but only on select parts of the road and on the riders. Then I masked the Marina Bay Sands building because it was looking without this, it was looking a little bit flat and a bit dark. So what I did was I increased the exposure, I increased the contrast just to bring out the details in the windows and the shops below, and I increased the shadows just so you can see again the details down here in the windows, on the top of the building. Then texture and clarity, again, same reason, and the vibrance a little bit because I thought it looked better that way. And finally, I have another brush mask. This time on the faces of the riders, right here. No, on the cones, my bad. So the cones were looking really bright. I on this mask I increased the exposure, increased the contrast, cut the blacks and whites. I just think it looked a lot better with this mask on it as opposed to without, and it made the cones kind of fit with the image, especially with me raising the shadows. It meant that the dark stuff behind the cones wasn't taking away from the photograph. And there you have it. This is my photograph of the Lidl Trek riders in front of the Marina Bay Sands building. Thank you.